Play.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Gamer Thoughts. Gamer Thoughts is going to be a replacement to the channel update. This allows me to give updates and just kind of go over some general stuff that I would, want to talk about. First topic of discussion is going to be World of Tanks. I'm going to be bringing World of Tanks to this channel. I really want to start expanding and covering some funny stuff, so there's going to be World of Tanks highlights, and for new players of World of Tanks, or just to talk about whatever, there's going to be Shadow's Garage. This is just going to be where I talk, or I take a look at a tank or a tank line, or a country or whatever. I'm also going to be cutting out full-blown Let's Plays for now, and I'm going to be focusing on classic game reviews, where I take an old game. It can be a semi-new game if it's like an indie game or something like that, and I'll do a review of it and let you know if it's worth buying or not. And I'm also going to be doing a new series called The Map Room, and The Map Room is where I do a review of classic maps from multiplayer games such as Counter-Strike, Day of Defeat, Unreal Tournament, Rainbow Six, that sort of stuff. So that's pretty much the gist of what I want to do so far with the channel. But now, with all that aside, let's move on to the main topic of this video, and that is, will Purple Guy return in Five Nights at Freddy's 4? In order to understand Purple Guy, you have to look at him not just as a character, but you kind of have to think of him as a real person. I mean, I'm not saying he's real or anything like that, but you kind of have to look at it from a human perspective. It's common knowledge that Purple Guy died in Springtrap. His death was pretty violent, and I can only imagine what his soul must be going through, because if you've seen any Poltergeist movies that are out there, you know that the soul, if a person's died a very violent death, very painful death, that soul may not be put at ease. I mean, I don't really believe in that sort of stuff, but in the world of Five Nights at Freddy's lore, this is what it is. And if you haven't seen the Easter egg, I'm going to try to find the Easter egg and put it in the description, where you can see there's a picture in a newspaper clipping that says it's burnt down. Oh, spoiler alert, I'm sorry. There's a newspaper clipping where it shows it said the place burnt to the ground, and it shows a picture of a little toy Freddy, and if you brighten the image, you see Springtrap in the back. Now, the whole Five Nights at Freddy's storyline, to me, it's always felt like it's the Purple Guy. It's all centered around him. But it also, everything ties into that first murder. Because, let's face it, some of the most bloodiest killers in history, Jack the Ripper, I'm going off the top of my head here, but, Jack the Ripper, I think it's Ted Bundy, I think the guy's name was. Gosh, if you know any major serial killers out there in history, feel free to link it in the comment section. But every killer has a test victim, where they test the waters and stuff. I mean, I've read a few crime novels, and I know, every killer has a starting victim. And everything may tie into that first victim, which we can assume is the puppet. Now, why am I talking about the first victim? Well, because, let's face it, it's been confirmed that there's a Spring Freddy. So, either this is the first victim that is coming to haunt us, or my theory is that it could be the accomplice. I'm sorry, not an accomplice, the person who was arrested. Because if you remember in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, it talked about, if you read the newspaper clippings on the wall, that somebody was arrested. Now, some people thought it was the purple guy, but how could that be if purple guy basically got away with murder? You know? So we can only assume that it's either an accomplice or someone who may have had ties to it. But it also makes mention, if you listen in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, I believe it's either night 2, 3, or 4. Somebody can quote me on that. I don't know which night it was. But Phone Guy, or the recording of Phone Guy anyway, makes note of somebody who died at a sister location inside of one of those spring suits. So we can only assume that the Spring Freddy may have been another employee that may have died. But going back to Purple Guy, we have to assume that he's coming back, because he always has that phrase, "I always come back." So this final game, which I doubt it's going to be the final game, he's probably going to release maybe one more after that, because, I mean, why the hell not? But I think that he meaning Purple Guy, this is far from over. We know that he has a lot of hatred, but he's grown in power in death. There's a really, really good song that I highly recommend to you, and I'll leave it to you, or I'll leave it in the comment section, or I'm sorry, in the description. I know it's a fan-made song, but it really, really ties into how Purple Guy, aka Springtrap, thinks and feels. Because this is 30 years. He's been dead for 30 years, so his soul has been tormented for 30 years. We can only imagine that his soul would be recreating that death over and over and over again. Or he's built up such hatred and just massive bloodlust for killing, which is why he's so. I don't think it has to do. I mean, I know it has to do with the AI programming in Five Nights at Freddy's 3, but I have the sinking suspicion of why he's so aggressive towards the player in Five Nights at Freddy's 3. My theory is that the security guard may have been either a descendant, maybe a child that survived, and that's why he's so aggressive towards the player, or he's just a general asshole and just wants to kill you. But yes, I have the sinking suspicion that Purple Guy will be returning. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when he's going to be returning. Because if Purple Guy can survive being killed by Springtrap and survive a fire, what makes you think that what else can we throw at him before his soul is finally, put to rest? I don't think his soul is ever going to rest. I think he's going to be doomed to walk in that suit for all eternity until either the suit is destroyed or the body gets pulled out and buried. I don't know. So again, this is just a theory. I'm just rambling here, but I hope you guys have, because like I said, it's just a theory. If you have a theory of your own, please feel free to let me know in the comment section of what your theory is. Hope you like this first episode of Gamer Thoughts. This is probably going to be a bi-weekly segment, but whatever. So anyways, to close out this video, stay tuned. The first episode of World of Tanks Highlights is in the works right now, and I should have it up either today or Saturday or Sunday, whenever. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have a theory of your own, let me hear it in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video. Be safe, guys.